Alrighty, guys, we got some earnings to cover, stocks to break down. These are all fresh off the press. Let's dive into it. Hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you guys want to join the Patreon, keep up with my portfolio updates, all of that, the Discord linked down below, also pinned in the comments. And with that being said, guys, cheers. I got my single espresso in a nice little Christmas mug. Merry Christmas, guys. Happy holidays. Let's dive into it. So the market today ended up having a phenomenal day, especially the small caps, man. The Russell went up almost 2%. Think about that, as the Dow went up about 0.9, and the S&P and the NASDAQ, they lagged a little bit behind, I guess a lot behind the Dow and the Russell today, but they still had a nice green day. QQQ up 0.25%, with the S&P up about 0.3 to 0.4%. And you guys can see we are well on our ways to all-time highs. You're noticing that here on SPY. We have a nice clean cut breakout, inverse head and shoulders playing out here. We're above the moving averages, and we also have a little cup and handle. Do you guys see the cup and handle action right here? We have the cup handle, and we have clear resistance literally where we are now, 685. If this is able to break through, which I think we will, all-time highs are right here, right there. 690 is the all-time high on SPY right now. That's the next gap that would fill, which I think would happen very quickly. Then if 690 breaks, I think we're going 700, guys. Call me crazy, but I was saying this literally a week or two ago that I think S&P 7,000, SPY 700 is coming maybe by the end of this year. I was saying that, and it looks like we're getting there. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but I think if we take out this 690 level especially, man, we're going to get that momentum towards 700 on SPY. And QQQ, same thing. It's been gaining momentum. We're above these moving averages, and we're really just one breakout away from those all-time highs. If we take out the highs from the 12th, 11th of November being 625, I think we're going to go straight to 640, maybe 650 all-time high by the end of the year. That would be nuts. But either way, man, we're setting up nicely. We're trading above these moving averages. The tides are slowly turning in the bulls' favor on the 4-hour chart. What more could you ask for, right? As we're kicking off December. Very good news, man, on these charts. So, and by the way, we're going to get a rate cut. We're most likely going to get a rate cut in a week. On Polymarket, it was saying that the chances that we're going to get a rate cut, the odds, I think we're like 91% yes, 25 basis point rate cut. So the market's probably pricing that in a little bit right now, in my opinion. And it's good news. It's good news because I think we're due for another rate cut, and we'll see kind of how January, February goes. But yeah, the market's liking it, guys. And we got some earnings today after the bell that I want to cover. Salesforce is number one, and I actually haven't looked at any of these earnings yet. So let's take a look at them together, get a live reaction, as all these should be out by now. Salesforce, and by the way, it's about 4:45 p.m. East Coast time right now. So Salesforce, the stock went up to, 238 on the day. It closed up 1.7%, and now we're popping like no other. It looks like we're up another 5% after the bell. Initially, the stock was up, 9% when the earnings initially came out. Now we got a little pullback from that, but still up 5%. So Salesforce, it looks like here they ended up reporting, let's find it, EPS adjusted of $3.25 versus the adjusted EPS estimate of $2.86. So they beat EPS and they missed slightly on sales, $10.25 billion versus $10.27 billion expected. So they beat EPS. Slight miss on sales. It looks like here Q3 non-GAAP operating margin 35.5%. They see Q4 adjusted EPS of 302 to 304 versus 304 expected. On, it looks like sales here. Okay, I like that. Sales of 11.13 to 11.23 billion versus 10.9 billion expected. So guys, their guidance is strong, especially Q4 sales guidance is well above the estimate. And it looks like they see Q4 GAAP EPS of $1.47 to $1.49 versus $1.86. So that is a little under the expectation. But the fact that they raised their Q4 revenue guidance, and it looks like here they also raised their full year 26 operating cash flow growth guidance to 13 to now 14% year over year. So these are all pushing the stock up. In the grand scheme of things, guys, the reality is Salesforce has been down all year. It's been down all year, downtrending for months on end, and it was very beaten up heading into earnings. The stock was at 260 just a month ago, and it got down to 220 heading into these earnings. So it was down $40 a share. We're talking 12, 13%. And, if a stock's that beaten down, a lot of bad news is already priced in. And then they come in and beat on EPS and they raise their guidance. Yeah, I mean, that, especially the guidance raise, that is going to cause a stock to move for the most part, most of the time. Not always, obviously. And the question now is it breaking out? The reality is it's above these moving averages, guys, yes, on the 4-hour chart, but it's not fully breaking out yet. It's not. You guys can see on the 4-hour chart here, the channel I just drew out, you guys are noticing we're struggling to break through the top of this channel. You're seeing it right here in real time. Now, does that mean we're for sure going to get rejected? Not necessarily, but you got to realize this spot needs to break. This channel needs to break, and in my eyes, in my opinion, I want Salesforce to take out the highs from the end of October, early November, being about 260. For me to actually get in this stock, to buy it, hold it for a little bit, whether it be a shorter term, midterm swing trade, for me to get into it, guys, I need to see the actual reversal, because what I'm nervous about now is that this could be a bull trap. This rally we're noticing could be a bull trap. So in my eyes, it's like, why buy it now? Let's wait for the actual break. So for me, that's above 260. That would put us at multi-month highs. And I think that would be a very good reversal spot on the chart. And that would mean the bulls are really about it, in my opinion, if they break 260. We'll see. We hit 260 in the aftermarket pretty much, and we got rejected. Interesting how that goes. Look, we hit 261 literally, and we got hit. So let's see if we retest that on Salesforce. Guys, let's see. What's the next one? Snowflake is another one, which I'm super curious about here. Oh my goodness, guys. Oh, wow, Snowflake is tanking after the bell. It is down 9%. Oof, it closed at what, 265? We went up 2% on the day. Now we are down 10%. We're at 242. Let's see what Snowflake did. EPS, adjusted EPS, came in at 35 cents, which beat the 31 cents expected on sales of $1.21 billion versus $1.18 billion expected. So double beat for Snowflake. Let's see, anything on guidance? They see Q4 product revenue $1.19 to $1.2 billion. Let's see here. Product revenue, or full year product revenue of $4.44 billion. We got news that Anthropic and Snowflake entered a $200 million agreement to partner on agentic AI. You guys know agentic AI is, the talk of the town these days. Super hot topic, if you will, popular term, right? Agentic AI. So we'll see what happens there with Anthropic after that $200 million agreement. But yeah, I'm not seeing exactly why or anything, that's pointing to why Snowflake stock's down. Maybe analysts were expecting, or the, investors were expecting better earnings. Maybe we didn't get the better earnings or as good of earnings as investors thought. And, we're down and we're back under these moving averages, guys. And it looks like we're now testing the bottom of this channel again. This is a big spot for the bulls. Moment of truth here at 240, 245 on Snowflake. As of now, the uptrend's holding, maintaining, but I don't know if that's going to last much longer. I feel like it will, but keep in mind that if we take this channel out, we could be dumping even further. The falling knife could get worse. So that's Snowflake, 5 and below. Let's see what they're doing. You guys probably haven't been a 5 below in years. I haven't either. Geez, but this company is, the stock's been crushing it. It hit $50 back in April. Now we're well over 150. We hit 173 here after the bell. So the stock's moving even more after the bell here. And I mean, what do people even get at 5 below these days? With the inflation we're seeing, what the heck's under $5? Forget about the Dollar Tree. Oh my God, we're gonna cover them in a minute. But what are people getting at 5 below? I remember as a kid, I would go there and get those posters. I'd get candy. Honestly, I still get candy there sometimes. Not in the last couple of years, but I remember I would go in my, in college sometimes. I'd go, buy a bunch of freaking candy. And I was a big candy guy years ago, but not much anymore. But what the heck do people buy? I don't know, man. I don't know. But it looks like here, EPS came in at, where the heck is it? 68 cents, which beat the 24 cents expected on sales of 1.03 billion versus 983 million expected, and they raised their guidance, EPS guidance, massively actually. Holy moly, from 476 to 516. Now they see $5.71 to $5.89 versus the 518 expected, and they also raised their full year 2025 sales guidance. So no kidding, no wonder why their stock is ripping again, guys. Even after all the green that we've seen, So five guys, geez, 5 below. Clearly, my mind's on Five Guys, guys. I actually just had Five Guys yesterday, and my goodness, is Five Guys expensive? I can afford it, but it's like $18 for a freaking burger. Am I an idiot? Am I walking in there with a clown suit on? I feel like a clown, honestly, paying $18, $20 for a freaking burger. And the the fries are insane. Oh my God, the burger's amazing, but $18, guys. Oh my goodness. Whatever. And we're not going to get into Five Guys in this video, but yeah, 5 below, stock's looking phenomenal. Cup and handle is playing out here. You're noticing it clear as day on the 4 hour. You got that cup handle breakout. This could be going a lot higher. That's the reality. This could be going a lot higher. So that's 5 below. Dollar Tree is another one here, guys, which, hey, it's up as well. The stock's trading at 113. We went up 4% on the day, up a little bit after the bell. Or actually, they reported this morning. Wait a second. So, yeah. They ended up doing EPS of $1.21 versus $1.08 expected on sales of $4.74 billion versus $4.69 billion expected. So double beat out of Dollar Tree. Let's see, anything else worth mentioning? They see 2025 comparable store sales growth of 5 to 5.5%. They actually raised their adjusted EPS guidance, and they narrowed their full year 25 sales guidance, but still both well within the range analysts were expecting. So yeah, Dollar Tree, it's like, all right, earnings came in pretty good, sales solid, guidance solid, and the breakout continues, guys. That's how the cookie's crumbling on Dollar Tree right now, and honestly, it looks like it wants the highs from August being 118. 120 plus, I think, is coming on Dollar Tree just by the looks of the charts here, guys. And last but not least, and by the way, guys, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe if you stuck on throughout this video. Last but not least, we have Macy's, ticker M, which this stock's been breaking out, filling gap after gap. We covered all these gaps, a couple months ago. So it looks like we ended up filling them up to $19.40. Up to $21. Now we're pulling back a little bit. We're maintaining the 50 SMA as support on the 4-hour chart. Kind of looks like here we're bouncing off that point a bit. So I like the way Macy's looks. It's gaining momentum, no doubt. Now, is there a lot of juice left in this trade? I don't know. Maybe not, considering how much it's gone up. I was looking at it here back in the $13 to $15 range. Now it's at $22, so I don't know how much juice is left. We're pretty much at a 3-year high on Macy's, but that's not to say it can't go up even more. It totally can. The company reported earnings. Let's see here, guys. The company reported earnings of, where the heck are the earnings? God dang it, where are the earnings here? Let's find them. EPS 4 cents? Does that sound right? Man, am I blind? What's going on here, guys? Where are these earnings? Either way, it looks like they raised their full year, or it looks like sales came in at 4.71 billion. Okay, we'll go adjusted EPS 9 cents. All right, now I can read. Uh, and they raised their full year view to sales 21.48 to 21.63 billion versus their prior view of 21.15 to 21.45. So they raised guidance, not bad. EPS revenue came in solid. And, Macy's, honestly, man, I don't know. Again, it's at a high almost on the 3-year chart. Does it take the mid 20s out? Does it take 25 out? Maybe. We'll see. It might take a couple quarters more to get there, but it's well off the highs from 2015. Holy moly, the stock was $73 at one point. Think about that. We're down massively from there. But yeah, Macy's has that nostalgic brand, doesn't it, guys? I'm actually kind of sad about the fact that they closed the Macy's in Philadelphia, which you guys know I live near Philadelphia. They closed that Macy's, and I mean, look, every time I went there, during the holidays, it was pretty dead, but I get why they closed it, but it's just something about Macy's during the holidays. I don't know what it is. Even in New York City, have you guys been to Manhattan? The Macy's there, it is insane during the holidays. Insane. Which, I mean, the Macy's in New York was 300 times better than the one in Philadelphia, but it's nostalgic, man. If Macy's ultimately goes out of business in like 10, 20 years, which they might, who knows, I might shed a tear. I don't know. It's like part of my childhood's gone. But hey, it is what it is, man. That's how it goes. It's how the world goes, man. Business cycles. It's life. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to join the Patreon if you want to keep up with what I'm doing in my real portfolio. We're investing $1,000 a week, guys. You get to see how I build my portfolio, be a part of the Discord, all of that. It's linked down below on Patreon, also in the comments, or just simply go to StockSurfest.com/Patreon. I'll see you all in there. And with that being said, cheers. Have a great rest of your day.